Yes, that's good. Okay, it's page 30. Send the light. Page 30. Yeah, here we go. There's a call comes ringing, oh, the restless waves, send the light, send the light. There are souls to rescue, there are souls to save, send the light, send the light, send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. We have heard the Macedonian call today, send the light, send the light, and the golden offering at the cross we lay, send the light, send the light, send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Last verse. Let us not grow weary in the work of love. Send the light, send the light. Let us gather jewels for a crown above. Send the light, send the light, send the light. The blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Thank you. Have a seat. Sometimes when I'm singing, okay, like that, sometimes when I'm singing, I realize there's notes I can't hit. Shouldn't try to. And I realize also there's words I can't say in the song. Like I can't get the word out. Like send the light. Sends to me it's send the light. I can hear me saying like there's no T at the end of it. And it kind of reminds me. He reminds me when I was in grade school, I had to go to a speech therapist. They told me about how bad I spoke. And one of my cousins, I had a conversation with him a few years ago, and he said he was working somewhere, and they said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "North Carolina." And they said, "No, you're not. You're from South Africa, aren't you?" He said, "I was born in West Virginia, grew up in North Carolina." He said, "No, you're not. You're from." They thought he was from South Africa. By his dialect, his dialect, he called it a speech impediment. I said, "I never knew you had a speech impediment." He said, "That's what it was. It's a speech impediment." Okay, let's go to Lord in prayer. Anybody have spoken prayer requests? We've got a lot on our list today. A lot of things to pray about. A lot of things to ask God to bless with, and family members and friends and church family. Who's that? Marsha's on her way home, which is a good thing. Okay, that's a tremendous thing. She gets to go home. She's been to the hospital 2 days. That could be, it seems like eternity when you're there, right? Annette is going to have surgery on the 15th, which is Wednesday, right? So pray for Annette, that the surgery go well. Okay, pray for Angel Cummings. She has leukemia. The 4-month-old baby named Scarlett with the tumors. Lynn Key. Pray for Summer Bogus samples. John Spalding. Keep Marcia in your prayers, and keep Lowell in your prayers. Family of Connie Fisher Berry, who passed away this week. And then Luke, I don't know if anyone heard it this morning with the prayer request. If anybody has a prayer request, his sister Miranda has cancer and it's inoperable. And they know, they've already told her that she's going to die from this cancer. I don't know if she's still in New Guinea or if she's come here or whatever, but he said, just keep her in your prayer. He's really requested prayer for her. Keep Patty in your prayers, and for Patty, this is a treatment week. There's also, probably everybody in this room knows about it. I don't know if everybody on the that's listening home knows about it, but there's a felon, a convict, somebody's loose here in Sissonville, and the sheriff's deputies are everywhere looking for the guy. We're going to go out looking for him after a while anyway, because everyone likes the idea of hunting down somebody, I guess. I don't know, but we won't do that. Just pray that he'll be found and nobody in Sissonville get hurt. Jennifer, our grandparents, we're excited about that. Anybody else have a prayer request? Spoken or unspoken request? Okay, keep casting your prayers. Okay. kids they had chicken pox, and it's cleared up almost all the way. They still have some itching, some spots, and they'll be back probably next week. Okay, and they did have their. We had this conversation. They had the vaccine, so they said that it was not a severe case, but it was enough that it's agitated. Okay. Yes, sir. You raising your hand? Okay. Unspoken request. Unspoken request. Okay, Jerry, release it there. Couple announcements. This Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. is a youth conference. It's a virtual youth conference, so the kids will be here on property, and that's why we were a little bit late getting started because we're hooking up the screen in the back. But that'll be 7 o'clock, and all the teenagers is 5th grade and up. Is that Rebecca? 5th grade and up are welcome to come. Rebecca needs to know who's coming, so text Amy, text Rebecca, so we'll know exactly who all's coming, so we prepare the snacks. Okay. Okay. Also, I want to talk about COVID-19 for just a moment. We had questions. Okay, so I want to answer questions as to why some churches just completely quit meeting altogether. I can't do that. I mean, if there's nothing else, we have to meet in the house or something like that. I just can't stay home. We have the pews marked. We sit in every other pew. We have a 200-seat auditorium, and I think we had about 18, 20 people here this morning. So there's plenty of room for everyone to spread out to keep the social distancing. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I don't think you need to wear a mask if you're within 12 feet away from the nearest person. Other than those who you're with all the time anyway, if you're 12 feet from them, you're fine. But if people want to come back and wear a mask, and just got people to do, that's fine. If there's any questions about that, just make sure you ask me, text me, and ask me. If you wonder why we do what we do wipe down everything between the services and sanitize everything as best as we can. So, okay. Let's skip the offering, even though I thought of it. Let's go ahead and skip the offering. Open your Bibles, please, to James chapter 3. James chapter 3. If you had an offering check you want to bring in tonight, just turn back in the office after a while. James chapter 3, and I'm going to read a lot tonight, okay? I'm not going to say what the preacher said this morning. I won't keep you long, as everybody knows I don't keep anybody very long, okay? I don't keep no messages are very long. But I want to read a lot tonight, okay? So I want you to keep your Bibles open. James chapter 3 and chapter 4, we're going to read a lot of this. About 30 years ago, 30-some years, 35 years ago, I memorized almost the whole book of James. I can't remember hardly any of it now, but every time I read it, I think about memorization that I memorized it, and it doesn't flow like it used to, but I want to read this to you. James chapter 3, verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about the whole body. Behold also the ships, which, though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame, and is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth the fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, either vine figs, or so can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh? Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you?
Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. Look over chapter 4 and read just 2 verses, verse 10 and verse 11. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother, judges his brother, speaketh evil of the law, and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord. I pray that you'll bless the next few minutes in the preaching of your word, and help us to direct my thoughts and our ears to understand your word, what you have for us tonight regarding our tongues and how we speak to people. In your name we ask, amen. Joseph was a young man as a kid, say 17 years old or younger. He had dreams of what God was going to do with him. He could see into the future, and he told the interpretations to his brothers and to his father had 12 sons. He was number 11 of the 12, so he had 10 older brothers. He told his brothers of these dreams that he had. He told his brothers of these other dreams. He told his father and his mother of the dream. And his father sent him out to meet his brothers in the field one day, and the words come out of one of them's mouth as they saw Joseph coming over the hill towards them. One of them said, "Behold, the dreamer cometh." And just the content of the words, "Behold, the dreamer cometh," means they looked at somebody that wanted something different than them or saw something different than them, and they just had disdain or disgust for the man, for their own brother, and they thought of killing him. They didn't kill him. They sold him into bondage. They told their father he was dead, or made it look like he had slain the beast. But just the simple words that came out of their mouth, one of them's mouth, that said, "Behold, the dreamer cometh," set the tone for what was going to happen to follow. Just the words that were spoken set the tone for what was to follow. David was running from Saul, and different people had helped him along the way. His wife had helped him at one point. Jonathan, Saul's son, had helped him. His brother-in-law had helped him at different times. And one time David had running from Saul. Just a few handful of men were with him. Saul was the king trying to kill him. And David stopped, and the priest Ahimelech gave him some food, gave him the sword of Goliath, which was hidden there in the temple, and he didn't ask for anything else. He just asked for food and a sword. And later on, Saul had his leaders gathered together. He said, "What this conspiracy against me is strong." Saul, who's going crazy in his head, said, "This conspiracy against me is strong. Show me who's for David. How come no one can tell me where David's at?" And there was a man named Doeg that was there, one of Saul's herdmen, I think. And he said, "I saw David. When I was detained before the Lord, he stopped to see Ahimelech, and Ahimelech gave him bread and gave him a sword and inquired of the Lord for him." He told a lie. In the first instance about Joseph and his brothers, when they said something, they weren't telling a lie. They were just giving their opinion. "Behold, the dreamer cometh." The words that came out of their mouth sealed the fate of their brother, other than killing him. The words that came out of Doeg's mouth was a lie. When Cain was speaking to God, God said, "Where's your brother Abel?" He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Okay, and he would not take credit for what he had done or blame for what he had done. But the jealous Pharisees looked at Jesus. When Herod came out and said, "What shall I do with the Christ, your king?" And they always started yelling, "Crucify him, crucify him." Think about the words that were coming out of people's mouth. And I think the contrast between the words that oftentimes come out of our mouth, it's a judgmental word or a lie, or someone that's just giving our opinion that we want to get rid of somebody or do something bad or say something bad or start the ball rolling. And a lot of times vile words come out of our mouths, and we're saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. And oftentimes people need something completely different than the words we're about to say or the words we have said. When Barnabas was one of the first people who got saved, I don't know if he's one of the disciples that were following Jesus before the crucifixion, but in the book of Acts, he's right there at the beginning, the first couple of chapters. And Barnabas is one of the ones who had a possession, sold everything he had, laid it at the apostles' feet, and went on a mission trip and just surrendered to the mission field, and away he went. While he was on the mission field, he met the apostle Paul, who was who had been named Saul. And when they came back to Jerusalem together, and nobody wanted to allow Saul, who they knew as Saul, to allow Paul into their midst because he persecuted the Christians. Until Barnabas stood up and added credibility to Paul's statements. He said, I was with him on this field, and he witnessed to everybody around, preached the gospel to everybody around. So Paul needed somebody to step up for him and speak up for him, and Barnabas was that person. There's a big contrast in the way how some people look at others and the words that come out of their mouth. Paul was writing to Philemon about a young man named Onesimus who'd been a slave or a servant and run away, maybe stolen some money, doing some different things. And Paul was writing back to him, so there weren't words coming out of his mouth. There were words written on the page. He said, treat him as a brother. Treat him as a partner. Treat him as if you would treat how you would treat me, and bring him back. Don't treat him as a servant. He's no longer a servant. Okay, well, all these stories and all these references make me think often of how I respond to words that come out of my mouth. Are they judgmental words? Are they a lie? Are they just my opinion? Okay, or am I encouraging words like Barnabas was concerning Saul? Are they encouraging words as Paul was to concerning Onesimus? Saying the right things on purpose, saying the right things to encourage people with my words. What comes out of your mouth? What kind of words do you speak? Are they always encouraged? Well, some people, everything you say, everything that comes out of the words is a negative. Okay? Well, Brother John, you got to have a negative. Well, years ago, when we first started church preaching, I had a conversation about people that were coming, and I said, what about this person? He said, he's like a negative post on the battery. He said, you got to have him. He sees the opposite of what everyone else does all the time, but you just got to have him around. Okay? So, okay, well, preacher said keep him around, so we kept him around for a long time. Okay? But words come out of your mouth. They light a fire. Do they encourage people with do you encourage people with your words, or are they judgment? Are they lies? In man fed mountain word, the same as a perfect man. That means every one of us is guilty of this. Every one of us at some point, either all the time or occasionally, behold the ships that were brought about which though they be so great are driven with fierce winds, yet that they are turned about with a very small helm. Just like a great big ship, a little tiny helm on the back of it. We were at the Amish country a couple weeks ago with Josiah, and there's a horse there weighed 2,600 pounds. But it takes a piece of metal about the size of your finger in his mouth, and you can get that horse to do anything you want him to do. Okay? Just a little piece of metal that weighs 3 ounces and a 2,600-pound horse, and he'll do anything you want him to do. Okay? 1 Peter, when James' next book over, just 2 pages over, 1 Peter chapter 3. So I'll read a couple of verses. 1 Peter chapter 3. Look down at verse 8. We'll read 3 verses. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, railings for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that you are thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Guile means falsehood. That means you hold back on things that you want to say that are constructive criticism at times. And hold back. And refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. That's pretty simple. In chapter 4, look over to verse 8. And above all things, this is Peter writing, and above all things, have fervent charity among your brothers, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. My question is this: how often do we just sit in judgment because someone says something, does something a little bit different than us? How often do we say, we'll go ahead and condemn somebody with their words? I try not to do this, been taught not to do this, but sometimes no one's perfect, and sometimes I catch myself, those words will come out of my mouth and say, I shouldn't have said it that way. I wish I hadn't said it that way. I was wrong in what I did. Okay? Every one of us is guilty of this sometimes. It's a simple message tonight. Control the time. It's an unruly evil. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you for the truth you've given us in your word. Help us to be the Christians in every area of our lives. At home, at work, around the church family, everywhere we go. Help us be a witness and encouragement to others. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Look at page 185. Let him have his way with thee. Page 185. Try to sing one verse. Page 185, His Way with Thee. Stand and sing. Here we go. Would you live for Jesus and be always pure and good? Would you walk with Him within the narrow road? Would you have Him bear your burden, carry all your load? Let Him have His way with thee. His power can make you what you ought to be. His blood can cleanse your heart and make you free. His love can fill your soul and you will see 'twas best for Him to have His way with thee. Let's sing the last verse. Would you in His kingdom find a place of constant rest? Would you prove Him true in providential test? Would you in His service labor always at your best? Let Him have His way with thee. His power can make you what you ought to be. His blood can cleanse your heart and make you free. His love can fill your soul and you will see 'twas best for Him to have His way with thee. Marlon, will you dismiss us, please? Thanks for coming out tonight. You did good.